Good morning.
All right. Thank you for telling me.
The recording has started, so behave yourselves. और ज़्यादा बकवास नहीं करने का.
I'm having milk, and the milk is just laced with a little bit of brandy because brandy is very good for the throat.
For the health.
Is it milk with brandy or brandy with milk?
We shall have a little conversation after the recording shuts. I refuse to incriminate myself.
Anjali, you can start the recording only after we start talking sense. Okay?
I know. Don't worry, we can edit everything. I was just trying whether it's happening. It was a trial round, so I'll just.
So that will be my questions. And Neerja, if you want to add someone, she's gone through a whole lot of setbacks, but the main amazing thing about her, she's always cheerful, always laughing. You can see her face with that big smile on her face. Yesterday, I wrote a poem for her. If time permits, I may read it out for you all. I don't know. Did you get time to read it, Neerja?
I didn't need to read it because I heard it. Okay. And I think that is awesome. I'm still floating. So my dearest friends, my beloved people, my wonderful ladies of all ages and stages. First of all, I am very happy to have Usha ji here, and very dynamic lady. And I met her in Bombay when I had come for one of the Pinkathons, and she has left a lasting impact, I must tell you, on me. She started trekking at the age of 60, and getting inspired by that, I started cycling at the age of 60. So I think we have some wonderful women here who I think all of us in ourselves are phenomenal, inspiring stories. And I'll tell you what is important to me. What is important to me is the love and affection that each of you and many more embrace me, because nothing is more important than that. You know, in the good old days, when I used to give a lot of talks and things like that, in fact, just yesterday, my mother-in-law asked me, she said, okay, so all these talks you're doing, tenu kuch paise milde ne? And I said, nahi mama, mainu paise nahi milde, but I get a lot of pyar. And I get a lot of love. I get a lot of affection. And these are the things that uplift someone. So I am very grateful to God. This morning, yesterday my phone conked for some reason. My maid's alarm clock went off at 3:30. I slept at 1:30. So you can imagine, the previous night I slept for 1 hour. But do you know, from 3:30 to the time that I got onto this, the laptop to connect with Prochy, it was the most beautiful hours of my life. Because there was no formal gratitude. But yesterday we had a meeting of which Prochy was very much a part of. And I think from 3:30 this morning till about 6:30, I didn't do anything but tears of joy, tears of gratitude, tears of how lucky we all are, tears of the love and affection that I get from all over the world. That is the richest, blissful jewel that anyone could ever require. And I think that in those 3 hours, I didn't say a prayer. I didn't do a job. I didn't go into worship or anything formal. But from my heart, there was a direct connect with the Almighty. There was a direct connect with all of you. And I'll just read out something that I wrote, which Prochy reminded me just now because she said she'd like to read out something. I just wrote a few words. Please see if you can think, pay attention to the words. There are very few words. One. One is all. All is one. One is God. All is God. It is but God. All is only God. These were the words that came to me today. And I tell you, I am so happy that I could share these thoughts with my beloved friends here. I didn't know that I would have a revelation. This is a revelation. I didn't know that I would weep for 3 hours before meeting up heart to heart, dil se, with all of you. And here I am. I didn't know how it came about that today was fixed. How it came about that today, a day after my birthday, was fixed. And Prochy, by the way, was mistaken. She thought it was on the 18th because she came home in Bombay and gave me a lovely collection of her pictures and her best wishes because she met me on the 18th. Of which year was it, Prochy? Do you remember?
It was 2018. 18.
18th, okay.
19 we didn't meet. 17 also we met. In 2018 also we met, but 2019 I think you were not well or something. We did not meet at that time. But
I
we
missed
have been
out.
talking on the phone.
So my darlings, I'm telling you one thing, that if there is joy, if there is contentment, if there is hope, if there is love, you don't need anything more. People tell me, and every day someone tells me, you've been through so much, you've had miscarriages, maybe 20, you've had a stillborn, you lost a child in the 8th month. Then you had twins, you were in hospital for a month with the blood pressure of 270 by 140, only on a saltless, boiled food diet. They were supposed to be born on the 9th of September. I was in Elizabeth Nursing Home in Bombay from the 4th of June to the 5th of July, 1990. And I went into labor. And I woke up my mother and I said, Ma, I'm going into labor. She said, how many minutes? And I stood over her head and I told her, 1.5 minutes. And my mother got the shock of her life. She woke up, she heard me, she fell back in bed. And then she removed her clothing and she ran to the nursing quarters. Within no time, that was about 6 in the morning. By the time it was 8, I had been rushed from Elizabeth Nursing Home to Breach Candy. They did a cesarean on me. I had 2 of everything because I was having twins. They were supposed to be born on the 9th of September I went into labor on the 5th of July, and they could not give me a general anesthesia because if you have high blood pressure, you can easily slip into a coma. So there was an epiduralist, there was an anesthetologist, two of everything, two gynecologists, two pediatricians, and I was cut up. The twins were taken out. They looked like hairy little monkeys, and I could carry them one in each hand. My daughter was 1 kg. My son was 1 kg, 600 grams. And when you are born, you lose weight, you lose water. She went down to 875 grams, and he went down to 1 kg. I held them in my arms, scrawny, wizened, but she looked all girl. He looked all guy. Lots of hair all over the body. And I said, oh my God, what's this? And I hugged them, and they were taken away from me and put into 2 incubators. And then one incubator stopped working. So they were so tiny, they were put into one incubator. And the incubator was rushed from Breach Candy Hospital to Jasloke because Breach Candy didn't have a neonatal clinic. And I followed 5 days later. So I'll tell you little bits of my life to tell you that at the end of it all, if you have faith in God, your friends, your family, your guru, and you take one day at a time, you can overcome everything. So the twins were taken away, and my husband comes back from Jasloke and he says, we have a very violent daughter. I said, what? 875 grams of violence? Come on. And he said, no. She's continuously moving, and they were being fed by Ryle's tube. So this little child of mine has caught hold of the tube, yanked it off, and then they had to tie her hands with bandages. And she looked like a little wrestler. And she went round and round. And they have a little window, so either her foot was out of it or her hand was out of it. My son, he slept like Kumkaran. He just slept and slept and slept. So when they tell you कि एक माँ के 5 बच्चे होते हैं, and सच्ची, every child is totally different. I have 2 who lived within me. Well, not for 9 months because they were 2 months and 5 days premature, but zameen asman ka farak hai. And I was so grateful. So of course, after this happened, I got cancer in 98, 23 years back. I've been counseling cancer patients since then. Then I got again cancer in 2004. Then in 2018 was pretty tough because I got something called septicemia. I was rushed to the hospital, and every 6 hours, I was given an intravenous injection. Now what happens is that if you have breast cancer, the side that you have had the cancer on, you cannot use that arm for either withdrawal of blood or insertion of your injections. So from 98 to 2004, the other arm was available for such things. Now in 2004, when I was diagnosed with breast cancer of the right side also, the only thing that I could take blood from and insert my injections were the veins in my feet. So from 2004 till date, this is what happens. So when I got septicemia, they discovered that the veins in my feet had given up. They'd been punctured so often. So they had to keep puncturing holes in my neck for the jugular vein. And so for 2 weeks, every 6 hours, I was getting injections here. Now what happens is bacteria forms. The nurse doesn't do it properly. It comes out, all kinds of chaos. After 2 weeks, I had no fever. It was bliss for 10 days. And then I got the fever again. And my doctor's voice said, get back into the hospital. So I was rushed back, stronger medication, again punctures in the neck, and for another 2 weeks, every 8 hours. I was fine for 10 days. In fact, during those 10 days, there was an award that I was supposed to get. I actually went to the hospital and I said, I'm going for my PET scan tomorrow. I went and received the award. And then the next day, the same words from the doctor, get back into hospital, because it had erupted, the bacteria had taken over my blood. Now, what happens in septicemia is that once the bacteria takes over your blood, then one by one, your organs start packing up. And God is great. I'm telling you all these things, and I'm so grateful that I'm still here to tell you this. The doctors caught me, and then they said, no 2 weeks, twice we've done it. Now we will give you the injections for 6 weeks. So every 6 hours for 6 weeks, I was getting injections here. That was 2018. And in June of that year, we had the Pinkathon. And I remember I just about removed that plaster and whatnot. And I had a blast. The Shiro walks, the meeting of, the night walks. It was amazing. So what did I figure out? In these 23 years of my counseling patients, 23 years of having gone through cancer, septicemia, cancer twice, septicemia 3 times, I figured out that we need a goal. And I know that each of you will understand what I'm talking about. Your goal is fitness. Your goal is regularity. Your goal is to be a better person than you were, a fitter, a stronger, a faster person. And these are the things that I learned in my life. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I ran to my dad and I said, Papa, I'm going to fight cancer. Do you know what my father told me? An Aryan, an Indian Navy officer, a soldier, a warrior, call it what you will. And he turned to me and he said, Beta, why are you using the word fight? Fight is aggressive. Fight is awful. And I'm looking at him and my mind is not thinking of cancer or anything. My mind is thinking that my dad, this armed forces officer, is saying these things to me. And then he told me something. He gave me the answer himself. He said, why don't you face it? Why don't you face it instead of fighting it? Because when we face it, it is with the feeling of hum honge kamyab. When we face it, it is we will overcome. So whether it is cancer, whether it is disease, whether it's a broken arm, whether it is financial losses, whether it's a failure in an exam, a relationship, remember one thing, that to conquer it, you need the correct attitude. And what is that attitude? Hum honge kamyab. I will face it, not fight it. I will face it. And this can happen in anything. I've put together about 20 very positive thoughts. But you know something? These thoughts apply to each of us. You don't have to have a cancer patient to read those thoughts and feel positive. They're friends of mine for the last 23 years who, after their puja in the morning, say these thoughts just to give them the zip and zing to face the day, one day at a time. So when people ask me, how can you laugh? How can you smile? How can you've gone through so much? All I tell them is, one day at a time. My mantra is God is great, is my most favorite mantra. This too shall pass. Every cloud has a silver lining. And the most important thing is that I happily surrender all my problems at the feet of the Lord. So I was giving a talk to a whole lot of youngsters, and I was telling them, I said, you know, this is what I've done. I tell God, hey, buddy, you've given me all these problems. Now it's your problem to give me a solution. I'm free. I mean, imagine with the Damocles sword on the head. Oh, I went through cancer once. I broke so many bones. I had 20 miscarriages. I had a stillborn. My twins are 2 months and 5 days. I could carry on. I discovered a lump here. There was a lump on my leg. I had to have this surgery, that surgery. I would be a mess. So the best is give your problems to the one above, and he will take care of it. So I was telling these kids, this is what I've said. God, buddy, you've given me these problems. That's not my problem. It's your problem to give me the solution. I'm free because I need to talk. I need to enjoy life. I need to live to the maximum. How could I talk with all of you today if something was niggling at the back of my head, ke, oh my God, aaj kya hoga, kal kya hoga, parso kya hoga? No. Live in the now. Enjoy every moment. And if I can give my problems to God, then I need to give him the credit of all that is happening to me. Which means that if people say, you're so cheerful, you're so this, you're so that, you're inspiring, we look up to you, we love what you do. There's so many people who tell me, you know, Neerja, we put on Facebook every morning just to see what you're up to. And keeping that in mind, when I was sick right through 2018, I think Prochy got shocked. She didn't know I was sick. I would get up in the morning, open up Facebook, find that on every day of my memory, There are things I've done, maybe 10 things. Press the share button for 3 and go back to sleep. Because that is what kept me going. That if I can inspire others, others inspired me to carry on going. If I can talk to you people and change the thinking of even one, then that is what enlivens me. That is what fulfills my purpose of life. That is what gives me joy. Sometimes a patient comes to me, they just want to curl up and die. They're resisting, they're resenting. And I start talking. And slowly, from distrust, from leave me alone, no one can help me out of this situation. I'm shattered, I'm shocked. Just let me go, let me die in peace. Slowly, their expression changes. And they listen, they listen, they listen, and they come closer. And by the time I finish talking, they're eager to do their treatment and get it over and done with, because I tell them, finish your treatment. Come and join me. I need you. And you know something? When you come out of cancer, anyone in your locality will come to you with their problems. My daughter has it, my niece has it, my father has it, and you have seen how I have held your hand and taken you from diagnosis to chemo, through surgery, through radiation, rehabilitation, getting back to your feet. You've had a life experience and you will be their hero. You will be their heroine and you will uplift people. I say, look at the amount of people I've talked to. They have talked to those many people. And there is a ripple after ripple of positivity, of strength, of encouragement, of love, of compassion, of sensitivity, of empathy. Now, when you have all these things, what more do you need? So, when I start counseling patients, or anyone, so earlier, if it was only cancer patients, then the mother or of the patient would say, you did a very good job with my child, but her son is a rascal in school. Can you talk to him and explain things to him? So I started doing a whole lot of counseling, because in school, after school, I had done my graduation in social work. Then I did my B.Ed. I worked in schools in Bombay, in Diamond Jubilee, in Mazgon, as a social worker. I worked as a 4th standard class teacher in G.D. Somani. So I've had a lot of experience. And what do you think God said? Acha bachu, you're loving, you have wide shoulders. From the time you were a little child, people have trusted you. You know what? I got a plan for you. The plan is that you're going to go through lots of things, so that anyone who talks to you and meets you and they say, this is troubling us, this is what we're going through, you can turn and say, I understand. I've been there. I've done that. I've worn those moccasins. Not only can I understand what you are going through, I can understand what your family has gone through. I can understand because I've been there, and I can hold your hand. And I can teach you from the mistakes that I made. And that is life. That is my life. That is what keeps me going. So those are the 3 things. The first thing is, think of cancer as nothing but a word. It's just a word. When I talk about a cup or a cell phone or a laptop or a curtain, do I break into sweat? No. But when I talk about or hear the word cancer, I'm shattered, I'm shocked, I'm fortified, I'm terrified. And why is that so? Because we have so many people over the last years who've said, oh, this is what happened, that is what happened, wo to 1 foot in the grave, everything negative. And they are the ones that have not gone through cancer. They don't know what it is. They don't know better. You know, my doctors told me your hair are going to fall. 21 days after my first chemo, I pulled my hair every day. Nothing happened. And I said, what are these doctors talking about? They haven't gone through chemotherapy. They haven't experienced it. 21st day when I was having a bath in Chennai to come to Bombay for my second chemotherapy, I was soaping my neck and hair came out. And guess what I did? After my bath, I went to my balcony. I pulled the hair out bit by bit, thoda thoda. And you know those flowers, we do this and we say, he loves me not. I pulled my hair out, standing in my balcony. I let them fly. And it was as if my troubles were going away from me. So everything depends on how you look at it. When people come to me, I tell them, I said, listen, your coming to me is not going to make your cancer go away. But what it will do is that I can tell you the mistakes I made. I can tell you the good things I did. That will fortify you. That will help you. That will make you move on. It'll give you himmat. It'll give you josh. Because you know what the ace up my sleeve is? Hey, if I can do it, so can you. Now, if a person goes and pats the cancer patient and says, be positive. Ari, do you know what I'm going through? Yes, I do. I've been through it twice. I know what you're going through. I know what your family is going through. My family went through it. I know. If I can do it, hey, so can you. So the first thing is, cancer is only a word. Treat it as only a word, nothing more, nothing less. All our feelings, the burden that we carry, cancer, is because of what we have heard from generations. But now things are different. Advancement in science. The first time in 98, I had a surgery. The second time in 2004, I got the shock of my life. I thought I died because here was this futuristic person looking down at me with elongated binoculars attached to the eyes. I said, who's that? And he said, hey, this is Vijay. This is your doctor. I said, what are you doing? I'm doing a microsurgery. Samjhe? Surgery in 98, microsurgery in 2004. Chemotherapy in 98 that I puked and I puked 2 fat worms also. And my husband, who happened to be with me, took it, big fat thing, took it and put it in a mug. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm going to show it to the doctor. And a couple of days later, when in another bathroom, I puked another one. What was my thinking? Arey, these two fat worms will find themselves in the sewage of my building and they will set up a cozy little home. Okay. When I removed the hair and let it fly off, it was not with the feeling, oh my God, I'm going to go bald and what will I look like? And how will I face the world? And because हर चीज में there are two ways of looking at it, the negative and the positive. And it's up to us what to choose. Idhar jaun ya udhar jaun. And guess what I found? I found that when I'm positive, it uplifts the vibrations wherever I am. When I'm negative, I not only make things worse for me, but for everyone. And I pull myself and everyone down. I'm going to tell you a very simple thing. This is our body, our sharir. And the sharir is like a machine. It only knows how to create. Now, if I'm laughing and chatting and enjoying life, what does my body do? It creates endorphins. It creates happy hormones. If I'm angry, upset, resentful, whining, complaining, what does my body do? It creates toxins. Now, whenever there is a fight, that army that is well prepared and has more of stuff wins. So if there is a fight within my body, obviously, the one that I have more of will win. So if I have more of endorphins and happy hormones, they will win. And if I have more of toxins, they will win. So the lesson from this is, be happy. Don't worry. Because with this attitude, you open yourself to possibilities, which if you are negative, you shut yourself from positive. When you are negative, why me? Why me? It is very easy for a cancer patient to say, why me? I haven't harmed a fly. I don't deserve it. Why me? मैंने किसका क्या बिगाड़ा है? But when we think like this, we are full of self-pity. And what are we doing? We are digging our own grave. So there I'm saying, why me? And ye kya and wo kya? That person is living better off. Usko to kuch nahi hua. मैं मट्टी खोद रही हूँ. Where does the mud go? It goes onto me. What am I doing? I'm putting more and more mud onto me, digging myself deeper, and then there comes a time when it may be impossible for me to come out. I'm just focused on one thing. Why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? And Anjanaya, Hanuman is flying overhead. Oh, there's Neerja. Let me try and help her. Is Neerja open? No, Neerja is not open. Neerja is not receptive. Because Neerja is so busy with why me, why me, why me, why me, why me. Whereas if Neerja is open and receptive, she would say, SDPA, study, diagnosis, plan of action. Acha, cancer, why? Okay. What do I have to do? Surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. Okay. Tuck, 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 tuck. And that plan keeps me going. That goal keeps me going. What did I start with? We need a goal. So when I was diagnosed, they told me one thing. They said, you have only 25% chances of survival. And you do not even have it in India. You have to go to France, you have to go to America, because they had started stem cell research. My dears, I cried for 3 days. बहुत रोई मैं. Not because I was worried about myself, because my twins were only 7. इनका क्या होगा? तो 3 दिन बहुत रोया. Suddenly enlightenment on the 4th day, tube light. Did God come down and tell me, hey, ulti ginti shuru kar? Did God come down and wag his finger and say, your time of death is near? Did Yamraj come down? No. After all, I am the first one to say, God is Doc. And Doc is God. But God didn't tell me, okay, you are coming to the end of your life. I wiped my tears. I said, I'm going to have a goal. I'm going to live for my twins. And with God's grace, whatever I've gone through, now, mashallah, my children are going to be 31 in July. So 23 years. Now, what could I have done? If I had taken the other route, I wouldn't be here talking to you. Because if there are 10 women who have the same body structure, the same kind of cancer, the same medication, but if all that is the same, there is one thing different. And that different thing is the way they look at things. Wo nazariya, the attitude. 3 people might die on the spot. Fright, fear of death, just fear. Give up. 3 people, something else. Another 3, something else. And 1, something else. तो फर्क क्या था? Body weight is the same, structure is the same, diagnosis is the same, prognosis is the same, medication is the same. What is different? The way they look at it and the attitude. So a lot depends on your mind. So remember this, cancer is only a word. And think of the treatment. Point number 2, think of the treatment as only a short detour, a bypass, to take you back to where you thought you were going. वो कभी-कभी हम Salem की, I want to go to Coimbatore or Kunur. I will avoid going to Erode or through Salem. Why? I'll take a bypass क्योंकि मैं वहाँ अटक जाऊंगी. Detour. So the treatment should not be considered as the be-all and end-all of everything, of life. It's not. It is just a short detour to take you from point A to point B, where you would have reached. ये थोड़ा detour लो, treatment करो, ठीक हो जाओ. And the third point is, laughter is the best medicine. So these are the 3 points. And I gave you one example of why me, how self-pity can really completely shatter you. It just withdraws your energy from you. आपको खोखला कर देता है. Whereas the other attitude fills you up. I'm going to tell you one more example. So every time a patient after 3 months, then 6 months, then 9 months, then a year comes back for a checkup. And I had this lovely person, I've forgotten which country, either Philippines or, Mauritius or something. She didn't have a leg, but she had an artificial limb. And she always wore pants or a long skirt. But if you looked at her, it was as if she had just stepped out of a Vogue magazine. Perfectly done nails, yeah, stitched figure. And one day, I had helped her through the terrible times where her leg had to be cut and how to come out of it, and chemotherapy, surgeries, radiations, everything. And one day she came to me and she was crying. I said, Kya hua? What happened? She said, if I get pain here, I think it's come back. If I get pain here, if I get pain here, if I get pain here, she touched practically every part of her body. And she said, if I get pain anywhere, I think कि मेरा cancer वापस आ गया. She was inconsolable. I suddenly turned to her and I said, you know something? I'm so glad that you are here today. So she said, why? I said, because had you come tomorrow, I wouldn't have been here. She said, why not? I said, well, a few days back, I'd gone to see a movie. और जब आप मूवी देखते हैं तो कोल्ड कॉफी और पॉपकॉर्न तो बनता ही है, और जब पॉपकॉर्न खाते हो तो वो गिरता है. And some of it fell and I was brushing the popcorn off. And guess what my fingers felt? I felt a lump here. And I showed it to her. I said, ye dekho, do you see it? Do you feel it? She said, huh? I said, well, I'm leaving for Bombay tomorrow and I'm getting a surgery done in the afternoon. So I'm so happy you came today. At least I met you. You know what happened to her? She broke down completely. How unfair. I said, unfair? Unfair for what? She says, no, you had miscarriages, then you had a stillborn, then you had premature twins, and at a hospital 270 by 140 blood pressure. She knew my history pattern. I'm looking at her and saying, oh man, I really went through a lot. And I said, 1 minute, are you crying for me? She said, yeah. I said, tell me one thing. Am I crying for me? No. She said, it's so unfair. Obviously, she'd read up on the net and she knew everything about me. And that is when I got this brilliant idea. See, when you're going through something, ideas come. And God puts them there. Okay, I give everything that happens to me, the credit or the discredit is his. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just an instrument. So this idea came to me. I said, see, I calmed her. I went and I hugged her. I I settled her. I went back to my side of my table and I said, see, there are only two things that I'm certain of. One, I touched the extreme left-hand side of my table, the corner, and I said, one, that I'm born. And two, the other side, I will die. Or kuch to certain hai hi nahi. I said, whatever happens in between these 2 points, my birth and my death, और मेरी जिंदगी में बहुत कुछ हुआ है, a lot has happened in my life. At every point, if I think this is the end of my life, what will happen to me? I'll be a wreck. So you know what I told her? I said, in Hindi, we have a lovely phrase, mar mar ke jeena. I said, if everything happens to me, I keep thinking, oh my God, I'm dying. This is the end. Mar mar ke jeena. Dying, living. Would I live at all? I said, I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy every moment. But kya pata chala ki I'm walking on the road and a truck comes and hits me and I don't even know I'm dead. So why should I spend my time worrying about something that I have no clue about? People say, na, ek second mein kuch bhi ho sakta hai. So I sat and I explained this to her. I'm certain I'm born, I'm certain I'm going to die. और बीच में जो कुछ भी हुआ है, if everything I say, this is the end, मैं जा रही हूँ, I will not live. So remember, my darlings, have a goal, keep something, reach for the stars. It enlivens you, it gives you hope, it gives you encouragement. Have God, have Guru, have your family, have your friends as a support system. And most of all, have faith in yourself. कि हम होंगे कामयाब. And know that it is in our hands whether to be positive or whether to be negative. And these are the few things that I thought I would share with you. I will also tell you my 10 treasures. First is love. Second is fun and laughter. Third is God. The fourth is if you have belief and faith in God, it's the faith that counts. The fifth is that if you have faith, then miracles happen. The sixth is death, because even death is a treasure. It teaches you the seventh, it teaches you acceptance. And when you accept what is happening to you, half your troubles are over, because then you start looking for solutions. And when you accept, there is gratitude and thankfulness for all the good things in your life, the positive things in your life, the little joys of life. And with that gratitude comes abundance. And then with abundance, you can live in the now. So these are the 10 treasures of my life that have always helped me. And the love and affection of everyone that uplifts me and raises me out of all my troubles. My parents have been like rocks of Gibraltar. The love and affection of my friends the world over. The first time I was I was diagnosed on Friday the 13th. 14th and 15th, I had already enrolled in a Reiki class. So I rang up my masters and I said, I can't come. Why not? I said, I've just been diagnosed with cancer. Doesn't matter. Come in between your tests and we will start group healing on you. I tell you, that was the best thing that could have happened. I used to do 1 hour and 45 minutes of Reiki on myself during the first time. The second time, because in my family, in 3 generations of our family, we have 40 cases of cancer. Treatment was more aggressive. I was at a higher risk when it happened the second time. So I went through a lot more physically, emotionally, mentally. And I said to myself, I said, the first time I prayed for myself, and I knew that there were a lot of people praying for me the world over, the power of prayer. I said, this time, I don't have the energy to pray. Because if my mother would ask me, do you want this? I would be flat out, and all I would do is, this meant yes, and this meant no. And she would weep. And when I was better off, I told my sister, I said, just explain to her, I'm not going nowhere. But I don't have the energy, because you know that when I do, I'm over the effects, I'm bubbling, and I'm back to, square one. So the second time I said, okay, everything is on God, on family, on my friends, and it'll take care of itself. So just go with the flow happily, and all is well. Now I will ask Prochy if there are any questions. I can keep carrying on talking for 10 to 12 hours, no problem. But I know that you probably have some time constraints. So I would like to ask you what to do next.
Thank you.
Shama, you can unmute and ask
Thank
your
you,
question.
Neerja, for a wonderful. Sorry?
Shama has a question. She's raised her hand.
Let me thank her first.
Okay, fine. No problem.
Thank you for a very, very inspirational, motivational, beautiful talk as always. I can also sit listening here to you for hours, Neerja. And yesterday also I had a wonderful time with your family and your friend. Is she your friend, Anamika? Or is
Yes,
she a relative?
she calls me Ma. She calls me Ma.
We had an
She's
hour
like
of meditation. It was beautiful. It was a real experience, wonderful experience.
Actually,
and thank you for
can I say something here? So Anamika is a dancer and she's also a healer. So what she told me was sometime back, she said, Ma, you call your friends and I'll make them dance. And guess what I thought? Within a minute of her putting the phone down, I said, no, you know what I want? I want to celebrate my birthday with a meditation. So I told her, I said, instead of a dance, can we have a meditation? And I'm very grateful because I had family and friends from all over the world. We were about 98 of us. And one of my cousins had traveled from Dallas to Hawaii. And it was 2:30 a.m. there. She made it a point to get up. So I had people from all over the cities in India and from Los Angeles and Hawaii and I mean everywhere. And Prochy from Bombay, I'm in Chennai, There were people from Delhi, from Indore, from Jamshed, everywhere. So one thing that the pandemic has done is that it has got us so close together. I mean, 98 people from all over the world just there for a meditative birthday celebration, not even for a party. And Prochy was there, and I was so happy that she was there to share.
Thank you so much. It was a big honor for me to be with your relatives and your friends. Thank you for calling. So now, if anyone wants to ask something, please do. I think Shama had a question.
Neerja, thanks. Thank you very much for this session. And, for me, exercise means a lot, right? So I woke up in the morning at 6:30. I saw Prochy's message saying, join the Pinkathon group. We have Neerja, inspirational speaker. I said, I will continue to exercise. I can always kind of listen to her in the background while she's speaking. I literally stopped my exercise. I mean, I was in the middle of it. And my question to you, Neerja, really is that, a lot of time you said you need your friends, right? Friends is what you need to kind of carry you through good times, bad times. So my question really is, a lot of times when you have not been in their place or they have not been in your place, a lot of what you said was basis experience, right? Some of us are fortunate or unfortunate, have not been lived life to the level that you have in that sense. So any message to us to say that when you're trying to pull someone up, what do you do when you have not experienced it, or what do you do when you've experienced it? Because a lot of times people don't open up. Any
You're on mute. Shama, you're on mute.
sorry, I think by mistake it got pressed. So anything, Neerja, on that in terms of how do you really support people when they need you, when you may not have experienced it? And then, there are times when you fake an example, right? Just to kind of make the other person feel better that, look, I've also gone through it. But it'll be lovely to hear from you, because the idea is really how do you handle each other and just kind of keep moving in life rather than looking at the rear view mirror and just kind of, looking back at what had.
It's a lovely question, Shama. But I must tell you, see, I've been lucky
that's my question.
I've been lucky to visit life from both sides. So when I was diagnosed with cancer in Chennai, my parents said, nothing doing, you better come to Bombay for your treatment. Because in Chennai, you have your husband and you have 7-year-old twins. Your support system is in Bombay. So instead of all of us coming to Chennai, why don't you, one person, come here? We'll send one elderly person to look after the twins. Come, do your surgery, go back. Come, do your chemo, go back, etc. And people came to visit me. Shama, this is such a beautiful question because you don't know what to do. People came to visit me and they couldn't look me in the eye. They would sit there and smile weakly and twiddle their fingers and look at their toes, and they were very uncomfortable. So the first thing I need to tell you is that when you are visiting or when you are trying to be there for someone, remove yourself from that uncomfortable feeling, because that uncomfortable feeling from you gets to the patient and makes the patient worse. Okay, so I was who I was, but they were making me uncomfortable because they were uncomfortable. So the first thing you need to do is to be in a comfortable zone to be able to give comfort to them. If you yourself are not comfortable, how can you give? If I don't love myself, how can I give you love? If I'm not comfortable and content and blissful and happy, how can I share it with you? I can talk, but will it come through? When people hear me, they know that I'm talking dil se. They know that I'm feeling every word that I'm speaking. But if I pretend, the vibrations of my pretense will get through. So here I am, I'm sitting there and I'm saying, what the hell's happening? And they're so uncomfortable, and now I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm the patient. Hello, have you forgotten why you've come here? Will you be good to me? I'm the patient. I need your attention. Okay. So finally, I said, all right. Now it is in my hands to make them comfortable so that I don't get more uncomfortable myself. So I started sweet talking, I started being charming, I started inquiring about themselves, and soon I was telling them little jokes. And by the end of it all, we were parting because they said to themselves, hey, he's the patient and she's behaving as if nothing is happening. What's the matter with us? First thing you have to do is, if you're going to go to meet a patient, a friend of yours who's just been diagnosed with cancer or with anything, please don't go there as if you're going for a condolence meeting, that you have one foot in the grave. Or abhi to treatment ke baad dusra foot bhi jayega, and then we will say Ram Ram Satya hai. So first of all, sort out your mind. You're going there to be of help. You're not going there to pull them further into the grave. Take deep breaths, sort out your mind, empty it. Go with the feeling of wanting to be of service and of help. And remember that they need you more than you need them. Their need is greater. So you don't have to go armed with positivity, armed with something. No. You just have to go with love, with compassion, with gentleness, with empathy, and with a heart that is large enough to embrace them and say, I'm here for you. You don't have to give speeches. Sometimes just a look, just a touch, just a smile is enough. It's not your exam. You're not going there to get numbers as to how greatly you behaved and how you controlled yourself. No. You're there dil se, dil ke liye. Be natural. Of course, you will feel pain for them, which is understandable. But don't go to them with your baggage of discomfort. Before you go to them, empty yourself of your needs, your desires, and go to them for them. So remove your discomfort. Think in your mind, what is my purpose of going there? Someone told me something very beautiful. They said that when someone dies, leaves behind, wo to gaya, ya gayi, leaves behind suffering in people. And what is this person saying? Oh, it hurt me so much when she died, when she went through this, when, Are, tumhara rona koi nahi sunna chahta. That person lived and died. Leave that person in peace. तुम अपना रोना, I went through this, मुझे क्या हुआ, मैं क्या कर, forget it, who the hell are you? So first of all, get your ideas correct. You're going there to be of help and service. You're going there because you genuinely are concerned and you care. Or are you going there to mark your registry? मेरी attendance है जी, मैं आके मिली थी आपको. No. It all depends on vibrations. You know, when people go into an ICU and they're smiling and the patient is like there with a million machines, you're going to be fine, Anika. And the minute they leave the ICU, they go outside and they start crying and they start beating their chest. Are, come on. What do I tell them? I just tell them one simple thing. You think the vibrations cannot go through a wall? I said, जब आप बच्चे को दूध पिलाते हो, or your child is little and you and your husband have had a fight or something has happened, that child will cry. You haven't explained to the child in words, you know, your father and I had a fight and this is why I'm like, the child doesn't know a damn, but it picks up vibrations. So what I tell these people who have come for their beloved one who is inside the ICU, yeah, instead of coming out and beating your chest and pulling that person down more, pray, send positive vibrations. Use the same time. When you are beating your chest, you are thinking of yourself. Okay, look at me, I am going through so much. But if you're thinking of that person, you will pray. You will send positively, of course. See, what are we told? That our thinking, our words, and our actions, our deeds should be the same. And when these three things are one, that is the ultimate. So when you are outside, you are the same loving person who wants to offer solace. When you are inside, you are the same. And when you leave and go out, you are the same. Full of love, sharing, concern, empathy, compassion. It has to be the same. And when you go out, pray. Offer positivity. कि जो बंदा ICU में है, gets that strength and gets uplifted. Not कि वो रो के. The Muslims have a beautiful phrase. वो कहते हैं कि जब वो रूह जारी होती है, don't have tears. आप रोगे तो you will stop the रूह in its travels. Because it'll feel for you. खुशी से अलविदा कहो, goodbye कहो. And I'll give you people a little tip. There are three phrases that I used when my father was dying in front of my eyes. Papa, you are in the light. Papa, the light is in you. And Papa, you are the light. ये बार मैं उनको कहती गई. And it helps the soul in its journey to transcend beyond the plane of the earth onto the other levels. Do you understand? It's important. आपकी जो intent है, the content of your intent has to be correct. All based from a foundation of love. And depending on if we have the time, I will share with you how my father passed on. But before that, if there are any more questions, please ask me.
Neerja, thank you for this word of wisdom that you've gifted us on your birthday.
Thank you, Shama, for the lovely question. It is the questions that trigger off memories and have the answers come out in a flow. This is all. ये मैं कुछ नहीं कर रही. ऊपर बैठ के करवा रहा है.
I have one question, Neerja ji. Yeah, I will like to ask you one thing. That
Yes,
how to divert the mind of a depressed child or somebody, you know, who are not ready to focus on anything else in life.
Okay, now when you're talking about a depressed child, what age are you talking about?
I'm talking about age of 32 years.
Age of 32. Did I hear you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. See, whenever you have a question, it is very important to know the age of the person.
Yeah.
And to be able to figure out that is it something that is emotional, is it something that is mental, it is something that is physical, or is it something that is spiritual?
Okay.
A life is divided into these 4 categories. You have to figure out ki baat kya hai. Now, I know one thing, that in these days of turmoil, there is a lot of turbulence and सब चीजें बिखर रही हैं.
Right.
I know that whether it's youth of 18 or whether it's the young person of 30 or 45, what they are all going through is something that is terrible.
Right.
Even me, I love to see movies. I haven't seen a movie in a theater, eating pizza, dropping popcorn, having cold coffee, banta hi hai. I mean,
Barabar.
mujhe sab ho raha hai, and I'm 67, whatever, 67, 68, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that if I can feel it, I can have separation anxiety. You think these kids can't? Human, we are gregarious creatures. Now, I consider myself to be a little more mature now than I was before. So I can step back. Ek to, Hina, we must do one thing. Pehले we must clarify our own thinking before we can try and help someone else.
Okay.
I always say that, let's say there is a circle in front of me. Let's say that I take a pen. That pen is in the center of that circle. Actually, that circle is Neerja. That pen is Neerja within the circle. So what does Neerja do? Here is Neerja in this pencil. This is a circle around her, which contains all the things that are bothering her. And then Neerja steps out,
Okay.
sees herself in the pencil, and is able to view everything objectively. There are 2 things. I can either view it objectively, witness ki tarah, sakshi bhava,
Okay.
outside, or I can be inside. Now, if I'm outside, I said, acha, oh, I see, ye bhi hai. Oh, acha, wo bhi ho sakta hai. Ah, why didn't I think of this before? But if I'm inside, I'm saying, oh my God, ye bhi hai, wo bhi hai. Main jaun, kidhar jaun, kya karu, oh my God. So first, I have to separate myself from the situation I am in, just so that I can look at it with the bird's eye view and separate things. Okay? Then I realized that, okay, I know that everyone is going through this. Hina, there is something called consolation in numbers.
Okay.
So when you talk to this person,
Yeah.
You have to explain that, bacha, you are not the only one
Yeah.
who is going through this depression. You also have to say something. Now, people, when they're upset, when they're angry, have this, that they bang the door shut and go away. They separate themselves. They don't want to face it. They don't want to confront it. And they lock you out. They think, ab darwaza band kar diya hai. You are there. I am here. Leave me alone. But what you have to explain is that by shutting me out, you are not solving the problem.
Hmm.
By shutting me out, you are isolating yourself. Now, what you are going through, Hina, I presume it is someone who's close to your heart,
Yeah.
which is because of this question. So you need to say that, bacha, what you are going through, and you think that I don't understand. You have isolated yourself inside, shutting me out. What is happening is that when I am outside, you think I don't feel for you. I may not be able to express the love that is the basis of my badgering you, my bothering you, my getting on your nerves, why? Only because of sheer concern in the depths of my being for you. So first of all, you have to sort out in your mind, kya hai? Put your feelings down. What is the purpose behind why I'm doing this? You might realize that you're making a nuisance of yourself. You want to be there, do that, but you might be overdoing it.
Okay.
Give that person a chance. Give yourself a chance. And sometimes, let me tell you, Hina,
Yeah.
they do say that manifestation. जो manifestation hai, that word is very important. Now here I am going to explain to you people something very beautiful. Supposing I and you, Hina,
Hmm.
had a fight. We've had a fight and I can't stand you and I want to catch hold of your neck if I could
Hmm.
and twist it. Now, I can't do that. I will be jailed. And the other thing is that I am fed up of this feeling of negativity that I have for you. I might blame you कि जब वो हीना आती है मेरे सामने मेरे रोंगटे खड़े हो जाते हैं want to ये. Now I have
Okay.
figured out a beautiful way of handling this.
Okay.
So what I do is I tell my higher self, अब मेरा तो नाक है, हीना का भी नाक है. I don't want to cut my nose by saying, Hina, I'm sorry. I think maybe it was my fault. I don't want to do it. मैं अपने आंखों में definitely Hina क्या आंखों में I'll get low and Hina will say, see, I knew it. देखो ना, we're all humans. So I step back and I tell my higher self, which is the 13th chakra, so-called. I say, hey, my higher self, do yaar. Go to the higher self of Hina and tell her, okay, I'm very upset by what she thinks of me or what she said to me. Also, tell her that I've forgiven her. Also, tell her that शायद मेरी भी गलती थी थोड़ी, so ask for forgiveness also. Now see, what happens is that my higher self has no ego. Hina's higher self has no ego. So what have I done very conveniently? Hey, tell my higher self, go to Hina's higher self, sort out this mess यार, ये मेरे से नहीं हो रहा. उसके पास जाती तो she angers me, wrong. I want to just, so I sat back and I said, higher self, go and do your job. Now you will realize, Hina, that if you work from a space of love and you have this feeling, okay, no, I'm trying to prove myself right by saying, oh, I'm doing this because I love you so, and why the hell can't you understand? No. Step back, tell your higher self to go to the higher self of that person and sort it out. And I'm telling you, this works wonders. A lot of my relationships, and I'm human, we all are human, they tend to, agar next time Hina or मैं मिलेंगे at a Pinkathon or something, I will look at you with a little more compassion. But if my higher self keeps working at it, there will come a time कि आपके और मेरे बीच में जो tension है, वो रहेगी. And the next thing you know is that we are on smiling terms, then we're on handshaking terms, then we're on hugging terms. और वो गिले शिकवे gone.
Right.
So
Right.
just explain it to you that if we
एक
get
minute, Amit.
too involved, we
Hmm.
cannot convey ourselves properly.
Okay.
Step back. And then we leave it on our higher selves. कि तू sort out कर यार, ये मेरे बस की चीज नहीं है. I have tried, मेरे से कुछ हो नहीं रहा है.
Okay.
आहिस्ते, the balance of the relationship will change. And आहिस्ते आहिस्ते थोड़ा सा love, affection, understanding will come into the picture.
Okay.
I hope that.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Sharmila, you want to ask something?
Yeah, Sharmila,
Sharmila?
waiting, I think, since long.
It's 8:35.
Prochy, I want to wish Neerja.
Hi Neerja, this is Sharmi.
Hey, Sharmi, darling, how are you? Jappiyan te pappiyan.
मैं 7 बजे से आपका पूरा सुन रही हूँ.
Hi. I love this girl, huh? Sharmi, Radhika, myself, we've had great times together. I will never forget them. Thank you, darling.
For me, Neerja is like a Kashmir ki kali.
Yes.
I want to say
Agree.
क्योंकि आज इतना अच्छा दिन है तो मैं निर्जा के लिए एक लाइन बताना चाहती हूँ. आगे जाए न तू जाने Thank you.
Wow,
Thank you, Sharmi,
that
for
was
coming.
beautiful.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
coming, and
Sharmi,
thank you
darling.
for all our ambassadors who have been here from 7 in the morning. Thank you all. I've seen so many of you all. I think at least 10, 12 ambassadors are here. I don't know if I can remember everyone's names. Suvarna, Surjit, Anu, Venkat, Daksha, Divya, Durga, Sonali. I don't know if they're still there or if they've left.
Priyanka.
But Priyanka Pugalia, Priyanka Nambisan,
Correct. Sonali.
Apna auntie Sonali Mehta, I think I've mentioned your name. Then
Rochana.
Tejaswini, Rochana.
yeah, so many. Thank you all for coming and gracing the occasion. I feel so happy that you all made the time.
Prochy, I think Jyoti
Thanks
Tiwari
to
had
Prochy and
also
Anji.
raised.
Yeah, she had raised her hand, but I think she's left. Maybe her child needed her.
Varna also, I think, wanted to speak.
Prochy, I want to say, sir.
Yes.
Dr. Neerja.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, Suvarna.
Yeah, can you spotlight Neerja?
Neerja, or you spotlight Suvarna.
Oh no.
Neerja.
You are the center of attraction, darling.
Right.
Okay, Neerja. I would like to wish you, because the starting I was not there. I am a little late. I'm so sorry. We had a Surya Namaskar session today, 151. So I would like to. This is the sweets for your birthday.
Okay.
Wish you many happy returns of the day. God bless you.
Thank you
Happy,
so
healthy,
much.
forever.
Thank you.
Suvi
Suvi
coming to your
always
home.
offers and then eats on our behalf. Every time she'll offer something.
These are the special dry fruit sweets for all my lovely friends.
Vifa se bhej dena. Vifa se bhej
Ayush,
dena.
please send across. We are in Bombay. You can send it.
Yes.
I will come on bike. Don't worry. Let me
Most welcome. I'll give you my address.
Jyoti wanted to ask something, but I think she left. What a pity.
I think
No,
Nidhi,
no,
And I
I'm
want
here.
to thank everyone, each and every one
Jyoti
over
is
here.
there,
Oh, no,
right?
she is there. Jyoti, you
there.
wanted to ask something, no?
Jyoti is there.
I wanted to ask, then I thought my question will be too lengthy to ask now. So maybe I'll talk to her on a
Please,
personal.
But you can say whatever you like, Jyoti, in short, whatever, something if you want to say.
anyone can call me up anytime. Prochy has my number. Please, you can do that.
Yes.
We should keep one session. Anyone wants to ask question, let's keep one day.
Sure. Neerja should be free. Whenever she's free, we are willing, because we have a Saturday session. Every Saturday we have a session. So whenever she can make the time, she'll let me know and we can have one more session, because there's so much to ask, so much to.
Yeah, correct.
Doesn't happen in 1 hour.
I think even Nidhi Modi wanted to ask something. Nidhi, you want to ask if it is a
Nidhi
short
wanted
question?
to say something. Nidhi is working a lot with cancer children, you know.
Neerja ma'am, this is Nidhi. You're my inspiration. What you do with breast cancer awareness, I try to be just 1% of what you are for awareness for childhood cancer. I believe no child needs to go through the pain, everything, and I'd be that support system to them. I just hear them out, and more than the kids, I feel the parents, the caretakers need that more help. So I learned it from one of your motivational thing, that the parent, if they are happy and they're at peace, I totally agree with you. The kid is sorted. Thank you so much for being my inspiration always.
Can I just say something here? So, thoda sa to one has to be smart, especially with children.
Totally.
So what I used to do is, first of all, we have an Adyar Cancer Hospital in Chennai. And these little kids are very smart. Unko pata hai ki aaj meri chemotherapy, to wo stand ko leke na, they on the wheels, they bring the stand and then they go and lie down. Acha, the other thing they do is, twice a day, they all stand in line, they all have their thermometers, they all put the thermometer and they wait. Then the nurse comes और एक को निकाल के वो temperature note करती है. Then a friend of mine gave a little, she set up a little park for them. And I realized that, you can con a child. You can con a child. वो खाना नहीं खाते थे, तो you know what I started doing? I figured out कि सबको swing बहुत अच्छा लगता है. The first thing is swing. Then comes, that run around, then comes the slide. So I started saying things like, okay, whoever has their food first will get to go on the swing. And you will not believe कि जहाँ वो बच्चा गिर रहा है, मर रहा है, खाना खा के, running. It changed the entire thing. Of course, all this is called, in bigger words, bribery and corruption. But कभी-कभी ये bribery और corruption हमारे लिए बहुत अच्छी होती है. So I used to bribe them. अच्छा, who wants to go to the swing first? खाना खाओ. अच्छा, who wants to? आज homework किया है? आज ये painting की है? Because I would give them homework. कि ये भी करो, वो भी करो, just to keep them occupied. And I always had reward, no punishment, but reward was always there, Nidhi, to get them going. So, very good. That's so
नीरजा मैम, मैं कुछ कहना चाहती हूँ नीरजा मैम से. ज्योति.
Jyoti, you want to put on your video?
Yeah, okay. एक्चुअली मैम, जितना जैसे निधि जी ने भी कहा और नीरजा मैम ने भी कहा, बच्चे ज्यादा जल्दी अडेप्ट हो जाते हैं सिचुएशन से. पेरेंट्स में भी टाइम लेते हैं थोड़ा, लेकिन बच्चे तो बहुत जल्दी अडेप्ट हो जाते हैं, यू नो, हॉस्पिटल विजिट और सब चीजों से. तो दे आर मोर स्ट्रॉन्गर एंड वी गेट टू लर्न सो मेनी थिंग्स फॉर देम. मतलब हमसे कम सीखते हैं वो, हम ज्यादा सीखते हैं उनसे. और स्पेशल एक बार थैंक यू भी कहना चाहती हूँ मैं नीरजा जी से. मैंने उनसे बात की थी कुछ दिन पहले, और सुबह सुबह बात की थी, ऐसे ही 7 AM शायद, ऐसे ही मैंने उनको कॉल किया था. शी वाज लाइक एनी टाइम यू कैन कॉल मी. तो सुबह के टाइम कॉल किया था और बात लंबी हुई थी हमारी, शायद 1 घंटा बात हुई थी. एंड बहुत पॉजिटिविटी मिली मुझे आपसे बात करने के बाद, और मैं बहुत खुश हुई. अभी तो शायद आपको काफी कॉल करूंगी मैं आने वाले दिनों में. और शायद मयंक भी करेगा आपको कभी कभी कॉल. भी वो जानता है कि एक नानी मुंबई में है और एक नानी चेन्नई में है, उतना उसको पक्का पता हो गया है अभी.
I'm so happy, bacha.
Thank you. No, he is awake.
Bring him now for 2 minutes if he wants to say hi.
Yes. हेलो करो नानी को.
हेलो बच्चा, कहाँ हो आप?
हाय मयंक, नानी को याद कर रहा है कि नहीं? मुंबई की नानी को याद कर रहा है कि नहीं? हाँ? कर रहा है.
ये वाली नानी को कर रहा है कि नहीं?
बर्थडे था कल अपना, हैप्पी बर्थडे बोल दो.
हैप्पी बर्थडे.
अरे थैंक यू मयंक. बच्चा, मैं ना आपके लिए मैं आज ना मेरे बर्थडे के लिए मैं 2 आम खाऊंगी, ठीक है? हाँ, मैं 2 मुझे मालूम है कि आपको आम बहुत पसंद है, तो आपके लिए मैं 2 3 4 5 खाऊंगी.
अरे बेचारा.
ठीक है.
पैरेट का क्या हुआ मयंक? पैरेट फिर मिला कि नहीं मिला? नहीं मिला. अभी देखेंगे, पूछेंगे पूना में किसी के पास पैरेट है कि नहीं. He wants a parrot now. Is it safe for him? Is it safe
He
for him?
wants parrot. Prochy, he wants parrot.
Yeah, but he's in
I will
Pune.
tell
not
you.
here.
Okay.
Pune.
Let me check.
मयंक बच्चा,
थैंक यू शीता.
कि भेज दो नानी को, किसकी भेजो?
रोची नानी को भी.
थैंक यू सो मच.
शुरू हो गई मयंक? स्कूल स्टार्ट हो गई?
हाँ.
पढ़ रहे हो कि नहीं?
हुई.
This is called anxiety.
और उषा नानी को भी हाय कर दो. उषा नानी भी है आज. वो भी आप मिले हो ना? बाय बाय करो.
Bye, bacha.
Bye,
God
sweetie.
bless you. God bless you, darling. God bless you.
Prochy, I want to say something. Can I?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Good morning. This is Priyanka here. Hello Neerja ma'am.
Hi,
Priyanka.
Priyanka.
So happy to see you. It's always really very emotional just to see you. I don't know why, but I really love seeing you, and there's so much of positivity around whenever you are around. So thank you so much for taking this session. Thank you so much for taking time out. Just wanted to narrate a very small, part of, an incident basically. So I was a part of Can Kids. It's a Cancer Kids Institute. Where they keep kids, they keep their parents, kids who are suffering cancer. And when I went there, I, before going there, I was thinking I will see a very sad environment and stuff. But when I went there, every child I saw was so naughty. They were, running around, they were playing around. And yeah, I was like, is this really can kids, or have I come to a normal, play group or something like that? And it was so amazing to just watch them do what they were doing, not knowing, what's going to happen in future. They were totally oblivion of the fact what's happening to them, and the kind of treatment they were going through. But so much of strength they gave me that day. And that's how I think each of us should live life. Bhul jao sab kuch, matlab, things are going to happen, things are going to get difficult, troublesome moments are going to come in your life, but we have to move on, we have to stay strong. And you are such a big example of that. So thank you so much for just being around and being part of our life. Thank you, Prochy, for inviting me. And I'm so glad that
Glad that all of you all made the time to come.
I left my session and I could join here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Usha Tai. We were so happy to see you.
Prochy, I want to ask something. Let I speak now. I जरा बोला तुम्ही आता जरा. I.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm so happy to join this session. And thank you, Neerja ji, for motivating us and giving your speech about how to encourage the patients and be good to them. And everybody doesn't know that. So thank you for everything. And many happy returns of the day.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for coming. And Milind has also wished you. I don't know if you saw the video which we made for you today. Please watch it peacefully. He has taken up the time to say happy birthday to you. I was like, after him, you have to wish Neerja, you have to wish Neerja. And he took out the time, and not so much of time, but connectivity, because he's
that is beautiful.
difficult to get connectivity.
Well, let me say one thing, that whatever Milind is, it is thanks to Usha.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So all you mothers, remember
Very true.
that whatever you do, it has an impact on your children.
True.
When mine were little and I used to take them in a cradle for my aerobics, they grew up watching their mother, a very svelte, slim, sexy woman, and exercising every day. My son is in America. He exercises every day. My daughter is in Chennai. She exercises every day. So remember, आपको देख के, जैसे Milind को encouragement Usha ji se mili. Your children look up to you, कि you are their heroine, you are their hero, and they will follow blindly the examples you set them. And it is yours to encourage them, as she has done, as I have done, as all of you are doing. Thank you.
God has created mother because he cannot be everywhere.
There you go. Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Neerja ji, I have a few words to say. Sandhya here. Neerja ji, I remember meeting you in October when you're doing the breast cancer awareness, and that's the first time I spoke to you. And I've heard so much, and I've heard you online. But when I heard you for the first time over the phone, it touched my heart, and I was like, and then when we've been hearing you talk, and I think you have so much, it makes so much of sense of what you say, and we're doing, in fact, I got into counseling, and I've become a parental coach, and I'm trying to help parents to understand how important it is what we say to our children, and how, the words that we use, like we don't use words like you're dumb, you motivate children. And there's something that I wanted to ask you is like, I'm as a parental coach and as a Pinkathon ambassador, I always, as a parental coach, I keep telling that, as a parent, you need to be fit first, because if you're not fit, you can't take care of your children, right? Health is wealth, as what we all know. So you first have to be healthy, and then if you're physically strong, mentally strong, you can be a better parent. So that is my advice always. But the question I want to ask you is that as a parent, when you're going through something like this, when you're going through a situation, how do you tell a parent, like, be strong? As adults, probably with an adult, it is easier. But when you come in front of a child, or when your child is facing something like this, how does one face handling a child? How does one, handle the situation? Probably, I think I'll probably take another session with you. I'll take a separate session with you. But in general, I probably will call you on in fact, we are doing Guptagu, which I started off as to bring about awareness in parents. And probably I'll get you on my show also to talk about this, because I think it's a wonderful topic. But in gist, if I were to come out as a parent and handle something like this, what would you tell?
So the first thing, again, I talk out of experience, Sandhya.
Yes, ma'am.
So the first time the children were 7 years old when I was diagnosed. And I used to go to Bombay for my treatment. And they were tiny, they didn't really understand, but I told everyone that, don't say anything to them. And we overcame it. So they would say, Mom, why are you going? I would say, no, I have to go for my treatment. Then they would say, every 21 days, I would be in Bombay for my chemo. And I remember telling such lies. When are you coming back tomorrow, day after? And I would make up stories, like I would say, we took off, the plane took off, then a bird crashed the plane and the plane couldn't go. Pata nahi, ticket nahi mili, I was going to the airport, accident ho gaya, pata nahi kya kya. And while I was in hospital for my surgeries, for instance, they would ask me, Mom, what are you doing? They were 7. I didn't tell them that I've just had, a major breast surgery done. And I would say, oh, with Jugumasi, I'm eating at this restaurant. Finally, I ran out of names of restaurants. And finally, they said, Mom, where are you? And I said, BCH stands for Beach Candy Hospital. I said, oh, I'm at this wonderful restaurant called BCH. My sister's eyes popped, Now, I did that the first time when they were 7. But I need to tell you something very important, Sandhya. You need to know the age of the child.
Exactly.
They were 14 when I was diagnosed again. And I told them that I'm going to Bombay. And they said, why, Mom? They were in the middle of their exams. And I said, no, I have to go. My cousins, we were going to have a reunion, a Bhushan reunion. I said, my cousins are coming from abroad. I have to go to Bombay. I have to set up a website so that they can, I was running an NGO, so they can send money for cancer. And they said, okay, our mother is mad. She'll do these things. So they agreed. But it was very wrong of me because they were 14. I stopped everyone calling the house in Chennai. I said, only my cell phone in Bombay. You can call up anywhere. Now, this is what is very important, Sandhya. Listen carefully to what I'm saying. I have a son and a daughter. They're twins, and they were 14 when I was diagnosed again. And my daughter heard my husband use the word breast and nodes. No, Neerja and nodes. And she called me up. And she said, Ma, are you telling us lies? I said, no, of course not. Ma, I heard Papa say Neerja and I heard nodes. So they understood the meaning of the word nodes. And I took an hour or two just talking to her and explaining everything. That yes, I've been diagnosed again. I didn't want to tell them because of their exams. They're right in the middle of their exams. I wanted to, you know what she turned in? She told me, she said, Ma, does that mean that you'll have to be a survivor again? So because she had heard that, okay, when you go through cancer, then you become, 5 years later, you called a survivor. And I promptly say, I'm a conqueror. I'm not a survivor, I'm a conqueror.
Oh.
She says, Ma, you have to wait. I said, wait for what? You have to wait to be a survivor again? And I said, no, darling, I will not be a double survivor. I will be a double conqueror. Okay? So those were the words I used. And she got satisfied with the answer and she carried on life. Now, I have a son. So I called him and I spent an hour or so talking to him. And I said, see, can you hear me? Look at my voice. Does it show you that I'm in pain, that I'm upset, that I'm sad, that I'm... And he says, Mom, you're always like this. Even when something happens, your voice is, you're always like this. And I said, see, that means I'm fine and we'll be back to action. But you know something? He never forgave me. He never forgave the fact that his mother didn't tell him the truth. So I think I learned that you have to see the age of the child. What I did was fine because they didn't know. They told their teachers, our mother has breast cancer. At 7, they didn't know what a breast is. Now you ask a 2-year-old, they'll tell you what a breast and a penis is. You understand?
Yes, true.
So the fact of the matter is that you have to see the age of the child.
Age of the child, yeah.
And every child reacts differently. वो कहेंगे, अरे आपके तो twins हैं. So when I finished my first chemo and I came back here, I told a friend of mine, MF Hussein's daughter-in-law, Najma. She was running a beauty parlor. She had a new pair of scissors, ceramic scissors. She got them home and she cut my hair very fine, very fine. जैसे कि मैंने shave किया है. Now the kids came back from school. My daughter always, I used to attach a hanky because she always, you know, would have a flowing nose or whatever. And when she came home, the pin was lost and the hanky would be lost. And she had this habit of swinging the hanky. And so they came home and I'm at the dining table eating with Najma and another friend. They came home and she saw me and she kept swinging her hanky and she swayed on her feet back and forth and she laughed. She laughed and she laughed. That look at my mother. This is what she's looking so funny. My son came in. He saw me and he got the shock of his life. He got shattered. He didn't want to see me. He ran into his room. And for 3 days, he never looked me in the eye. Now, I should have learned. This happened when they were 7. I should have learned that both of them react differently. And I should have learned that by 14, you are able to handle things. I am not telling them because of my protective nature towards my children. Inke imtihan khatam hone do, then I'll tell them. But he felt cheated. He felt betrayed. So you have to be very careful as to what you do when.
And you need to understand the emotional balance of a child also, how they can handle it.
And they were both 7 then, they're both 14. The age is the same. But the attitude.
Attitude, yes, that's right.
Now, I was going to Ramana Maharishi's ashram and the kids were maybe 6. My sister came from Bombay, so she has 2 daughters and so we decided to drive off. And he got up in the morning and he wore his school uniform. And I said, Bacha, we are going to Ramana Tata. Tata means grandfather. I said, we're going to Ramana Tata's ashram. Aren't you coming? No. I said, Bacha, don't you want to see where he stayed? Don't you want to see that cave that he lived in? And how he slept and what he ate? And this 6-year-old child told me, I just have to shut my eyes and I can see it. So why should I go? And my daughter, completely different. I'm bunking school. I don't have to go to school. My cousins are here. Let's go for a picnic. So you can't even say age. You have to see कि उनका attitude क्या है.
True.
So each child, remember, each patient is different. Each child is different. Each human being is different. you'll never find the same.
Right. It's like all 5 fingers are different. Every person is unique.
Absolutely.
And
I was expecting triplets, by the way.
Wow.
Thankfully, khali do hue. I would have been able to have lasted out.
But God bless you. God bless you for giving us all this information and blessing us with your time and taking the time out to to share your story. I think it is heart touching to all of us. I think what you have gone through is so much. And when we crib about the things that little body aches that we have, I think we should learn from you. There's so much to learn, man.
I would love to spend more time with you people and tell you how I get out of pain also.
Yes, ma'am, for sure. We'll do a session on that. We'd love that. We'd love that. Take care, ma'am. Ma'am,
make a
happy
note.
birthday again
Yes,
to you.
Prochy.
Thank you.
Ma'am, happy birthday again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neerja. It
Prochy,
was such
can
a
I say-
pleasure having you today
Prochy,
with
can I
us.
Prochy, can I say something to this? Yeah.
Who's that?
That's
You
Suvarna,
muted.
I
You
guess.
muted.
Suvarna.
Suvarna, you muted yourself.
Okay.
Suvarna wants.
Yeah. Neerja, I'll be calling you because my sister's radiotherapy is going to start from Monday. I would like to have some advice from you.
Please, please.
Yeah. And because I'll be going with her, and as you said, laughter is very important. Whenever I go for her chemo, and I give laughter before the doctor, I tell before you start it, I would like to give laughter. Now it become a practice that they do laughter, and then they start their chemo and radiotherapy.
One more thing. When the chemo was coming through the tube into my port, I used to talk to the chemo.
Yeah.
I would talk to the chemo. I would talk to the divinity in the chemo.
Okay.
And I would say that the divinity in the chemotherapy, please just destroy my bad cells and leave my good cells alone. So the feeling, and you're so right, Suvarna, because any patient that I talk to, I always tell them, hey, dekho, if you've met me, kal we'll meet at a mall or we'll meet somewhere, you'll say, oh, that's Neerja. And I'll say, oh, that's so-and-so. And, we will meet as friends. So what I always tell them is, कि जब आपको कीमोथेरेपी हो रही होती है या सर्जरी हो रही होती है या रेडियोथेरेपी, just meet them like you're meeting a friend. Because if your emotions are different, then your body will react differently. So if I'm meeting a friend, my defenses are down, I am open. But if I'm saying, oh my God, chemotherapy, I'm going to go through hell. What is my mind and emotion saying? And my body is shrinking and shriveling and saying, oh, I don't want it. But if I say, the chemotherapy, the surgery, the radiation, it's for my good. They are my friends. It's going to make me live longer, healthier, happier. You see the difference in attitude? So my body, which I told you earlier is a machine, will just think of what my mind and my spirit is saying. And if my mind and spirit says, I welcome you as a friend, my body will say, I welcome you. So what will happen? The effect of the chemotherapy will be positive. Whereas if I'm resisting it and I'm denying it, then the effect is negative. Simple. Right?
Yes. Yeah, it's a very good experience you told, but you will believe it or not, I am doing the same thing for so many years. Anything happened, I do like this. I talk to God. When I'm eating anything, when I go there for their chemo, I give them a Reiki, so it will help them.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much. I'll talk to you on the phone. Thank you very much. God bless you. Love you. Thank you, Prochy.
Thank you, Neerja. From all of us, it was such a pleasure having you with us.
Thank
And
you,
we look
Neerja.
forward to having another one very soon, whenever you're
very many. I'm ready. Very many. Always.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Neerja.
girls. Thank you, all the PAs, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anjali.
And we need that bear hug when you come next, when we are meeting. Okay, I remember. I think we sum up. I think we sum up like this: that if you have a right attitude, if you have a positive attitude, you can accept also things and you can give also positive things. So I think
Balle, balle.
this is amazing. I'm sure nobody, whosoever has time, will definitely don't want to go from here, and everybody would want to stay and listen to more and more and more, because it is like, it is
God is
so
great.
nice to have a smiling face. I'm sure I can see on my screen everyone is with full smiles and so much of positivity only here. So if you have that within you, it is definitely going to help everyone around. So
You know
thank
what
you,
I
thank you
tell
so
children? I talk to kids who are 3, 5, 10, 18. I always tell them, see, when you get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you have a bath, your mama irons the clothes and puts them there. And you know what? When you wear your clothes, you should also wear a
Smile.
And all of them say, smile. And I say, yes. Wear a
smile.
So thank you
So
very
true.
much
I
for
think
this
this was
wonderful.
Sunita's idea that we all scream and say happy birthday to Neerja, and I really love this idea. So I think you all can unmute yourself and
And
let us
also
all.
put on your video so we can take a group snap of
Yes,
whoever
Oh,
is
yes.
let us unmute ourselves
Yeah, we
and
have.
Divya,
I'll just
Swati,
give you a
Surjit.
count. I'll
Give a nice smile, everyone.
yes. Can you please switch on your video?
Ujjwala, are you there? You've gone to
Soma.
have your nashta.
I know.
No, I'm there, Coach. I'm there.
Soma, Ujjwala,
I'm
just
there.
show your face.
Put on your video,
Just
everyone.
show your face for 2 minutes.
1 sec.
Yeah, let us have a good pic.
Daksha.
Soma, please switch on your video.
Well, we are waiting.
Soma.
Yes, there you are.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, sir.
Yes.
1 minute, 1
So
minute.
here Soma is, and now we have full.
Yeah, I think we'll have to take one more.
Here
from
also,
the other.
yes. Everyone.
Neerja, God is also blessing you. It is raining heavily here.
Ah, lovely.
Let us all unmute ourselves and on the count
Let's
of
all
3,
shout together.
we
Happy
can
birthday.
shout together happy birthday to her.
3.
Happy
Happy birthday,
Neerja ji.
Neerja
Happy
ji.
birthday
to you.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday to you.
Happy
Happy birthday, dear Neerja ji.
Happy
birthday
To you. Lots of love and abundance.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nirja ma'am. Thank you, Nirja ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you everyone
Thank
for joining.
you.
Love everyone. Loving everyone. We had a nice full house. I was
Thank you so
hoping that.
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Neerja ji.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's going.
Sandhya and team for making this happen.
Yes, this is
Oh,
all a
thank
team
you.
effort. Sandhya, me, Prochy, everyone and all ambassadors. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, Neerja ma'am.
Thank you, Usha
dear.
Tai, for sitting.
Thank you, Usha Tai.
Thank you.
Pleasure, pleasure.
Sheetal, Swati, Surjit,
Divya.
Thank you
Tejaswani.
so much. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you for
Thank you. I'm glad I
inviting us.
attended.
Thank you so much. Thank you
And
so
we
much
are
for
all blessed.
inviting. It was a
We are
wonderful
all
session.
blessed here.
Thank
We
you.
are all blessed that we are all here
Anita,
together.
Thank
Tejaswini,
you.
Neerja,
I think
Thank you so
Prochy,
much.
Prochy, you will
Prochy,
have
you
to end the
better
event.
shut it because you
Yeah,
know
you
we
will
can
have to
carry
end.
on.
You will have to
Okay,
end.
bye
Thank
bye,
you and
everyone.
birthday. Thank you
Love
and
you all.
birthday.
Everyone, bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful day. Bye.